are live, 2 o'clock, as we said. We have a very special guest. I'm very honored today. Please introduce yourself, let us know where you're from, and tell us what's rocking in your world today, baby.
Yeah. Hi guys, my name is Ron Koenen. I'm from the Netherlands in Europe. With me, it's 8 o'clock in the night at night now it is, and yeah, I've been I'm 58 years old. I've seen everything happening from 1976 or 1977 in the metal world happening, and yeah, I've always had the desire to become a musician myself. And
Yeah.
a few years ago, it finally happened. So I decided, to go for it, release my first album, and release another one, which happened 2 months ago. And yeah, I'm very honored to be in your show,
No,
to present
I
and speak
appreciate
about
it.
my music.
I did a deep dive. Like you said, it's very rare to find people that were there in the beginning in that sense. Like I was close to the beginning. I was born in the '80s, so I was that one generation and a half behind you as far as
Yeah,
music. But my stepfather was really big into the '70s, like we were talking behind the stage, like Kiss and Alice Cooper as big influences. But you got to see all that grow,
yeah,
and then now being in the business now and seeing where it's gone,
yeah,
and uh, to have that as an influence on what, like if we were talking, you get full sometimes. Very
yeah.
hard to.
It's I've seen what we discussed earlier is that I've seen all these bands coming up. Iron Maiden, Def Leppard, Judas Priest, Van Halen, AC/DC. All the early days I really witnessed as a kid, and it was such a huge impression that it made on me as a person, and I still carry that on until today. And having that experience and seeing all these big bands grow, emerge from nothing and become big and bigger and biggest and mega. Yeah, then there's some point where there's little music that can still surprise you.
Mhm.
And that's for the last 10, 15 years I heard not a lot of bands that surprised me, having all this experience in my head, and then that's kind of where
These
you're
ex,
kind of.
well, you have these expectations when it comes to the music,
Yeah,
especially being in it firsthand as you grew up. And I'm in the same boat. Like people, I get inundated with music, and it's like shit,
yeah,
it's too much sometimes. Like,
yeah. But the kids that that are young now, that are 14, 15 years old now, like I was, very long ago,
mm-hmm.
they probably have the same experience. They are very influenced by their current music and current scene, and they carry that forward to when they grew older. So I think it's something that happens with all people at all ages at all times. But for me personally, I was happy to to witness all these big major bands coming up and emerging from nothing, from the underground, and
Mm-hmm.
seeing them grow, and that was a massive experience as a young kid.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of what I love about the age that we're in now. I can look up the YouTube videos of you, like you said. Oh, that's an old video we were talking about. It's like, and I look at like Slayer. They were wearing beach shorts and shit, playing,
Yeah,
their songs. And the next thing I know, I followed them 7 times on their final world tour.
yeah,
When seen them 7 times on that run, right? And fucking
yeah,
to see where they've come. Every band starts there. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's a
yeah,
matter of
exactly.
pushing through and getting through,
Yeah,
making sense or making your voice heard through all the white noise, especially nowadays. Like we're
yeah,
inundated by so much information and so much, like even music. If you look up music, all of a sudden, poof, you get a million fucking songs coming from this way and that way and this way, right?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
to make yourself heard through that white noise nowadays. Are you finding it better nowadays for the music industry with all the shit that's going on, or was it easier back in the day to just?
Um, I think back in the day, if you wanted to record an album, you needed to have a record deal. So there were a lot of
Hmm.
bands, and there were very few that had a record deal, and they very few that could afford to go into a studio that cost them $1,000 a day. And um, on the other hand, today you buy a new iMac and you get a professional music software. You got that professional studio in your iMac today, so anyone can record anything in a professional quality today, uh, which is good on one hand, and on the other hand, the result is that there are 75,000 songs that are added to Spotify every day.
Yeah, which
Every
is
day, you know.
insane to think about. Like when you think of the numbers of
Yeah,
just music in general, like
yeah,
regardless what it is, if you just take the one subject of music, it's not even the news they pound you with every day and the
no,
advertisements on top of
it's
it
just
all, right?
it's just music. And so, you know, as a from a creativity point of view, and as a musician, I'm really happy, you know, that the tools are there to record music in your home studio with all the, you know, there's the rest, you have the time to record and time to think.
Hmm.
But yeah, if you want to market that, then it's really difficult, because how do you stand out from 75,000 songs that are added every day? It's, as an independent musician, that's really difficult, you know, to
Hmm.
get heard and to get attention and to be picked up by press or picked up by the media. But yeah, you know, um, my main for me personally, my main goal is to create music, and that is easy nowadays. It's easy.
Hmm.
Um, Second goal is to make it hurt. That's difficult. That's
That's
really
the
difficult.
hard, like you
Yeah,
said, you can make all the music. You could have 100 songs on your fucking hard drive or that little thing you plug
yeah,
in, but if no one hears it in that sense,
yeah, yeah,
why
and that's
why we all know why we make music. Like there's no question about it whether someone hears it
yeah,
or not. But when it comes down to as a business and no one hears it, fuck. Like
yeah.
it's
Then you're
hard.
fucked.
Hmm.
You're fucked, because you know you need the attention, and so all these bands are fighting for attention. They're all fighting for press. They're all fighting for preference with the listener nowadays. And the listener is not like we were back in the day, because we were, you know, we bought this album and we were playing it every single fucking day, you know,
Yeah,
back
yeah.
and forth from A to Z, and one time, two times, three times a day, looking at the cover, reading the lyrics, and yeah, you know, that's it's different times now. So people play one
Yeah.
song, maybe two, and then if they're not getting bored,
M-
they may be playing a third one, but otherwise they're gone, you know, and
yeah. I've
the
noticed
next one.
a shift from when I first started doing the show about 4 or 5 years ago. Now I'll have to go back through and see how long my first band ever I interviewed was. But a lot of people are now doing singles, and they just release a
Yeah,
bunch of singles. The album's not there. It's even hard, I find, when I go and see the bands to get hard copies of like you said, the vinyl or the tape, the CD, something like I can listen over and over and over again.
yeah, yeah,
But the
yeah.
stories
You
that,
know, personally, I think that, you know, when people start telling you you should release one single a month every day, then you see everyone is doing that. So, and when everybody does that, it's not special anymore, because you can't stand out from what everyone is doing. So I said, yeah, you know, I want to follow my own path, you know, and I'm not, as a musician, I'm not capable of releasing a good song every month, because that's what they say. You know, you need to do it every, let's
yeah.
say, every first Monday at 2 o'clock. You need to release a new song.
Well,
First Monday,
now
but
it becomes no fun because now you have to do it. Like
exactly,
it feels forced. Uh,
exactly,
it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel natural. Even
yeah,
as a listener, when you can tell when the contract due and you
yeah,
owe an album and they just chuck an album out. you can really
Yeah.
hear the difference, right?
For me, it doesn't work, so I don't do it. I just,
Hmm.
I follow my own idea, and my idea is, I want to make albums because albums tell a full story, from a period of maybe 2 years or 3 years, and
Hmm.
for me that's better. And then, if if I get listeners, perfect. If I don't get them, too bad. Then I can't compromise on something I don't believe in because I don't believe in one single every month. Or
Hmm.
doesn't work for me.
I lean more with you because I don't know if it's because I'm the older school. I grew up. My sister would whip out the CD or the tape at the time, and fucking, you get a whole page. You'd fold it out, be reading the lyrics,
Yeah,
seeing the story behind the thing. And now you don't even get that anymore. You get the
yeah, exactly.
digital. You get the one song digital copy. You don't get
Yeah,
to hear the whole story or the whole progression of the album, whether this
yeah,
song is good or that song's not.
yeah,
You still get that story, right? And that's what
exactly.
I think a lot of music is missing nowadays.
Yeah, I think everyone uh, tries to comply with what they think works, but
Hmm.
I think what they tell you that works is not per definition true. I don't know if that works. It's something they impose on people, and
Hmm.
everyone I talk to that is the same age or generation of me says, fuck it. I want albums. I want full albums. I want full CD. I don't want a single every month. I want a full album, full CD.
Yeah, I'm
So
like
yeah,
you in that way as well. Like, I like to whip out the CD and unfold this booklet of fucking artwork and
yeah,
the story
yeah,
behind and who helped you do this and that. Like,
exactly, exactly. Me too. So yeah, so that's why I always print CDs. I always print them, and I always make sure that there are CDs. And of course, I'm also on the streaming media. But for
yeah,
me, my main purpose is, to create and print a CD. To have the booklet, to have something physical, to be able to read in the booklet, and for me to present all the information on all the everything that was attached to creating the CD. So as an artist, I want to have something tangible and to have a
yeah.
CD. So
Yeah, something I can hold. Like, I have a little shrine over here with all my set lists. Like, I always try to get up front, get the set list if there's one, or a
yeah, yeah,
drumstick, a guitar pick, albums, um, the small stuff you can buy, stickers even, right? And then all my
yeah,
t-shirts are over here in the shrine.
yeah.
you
Oh yeah.
know, it's
People want
as a
something tangible, not something in the
mhm.
in the cloud, or in a digital environment or
No, and then someone comes over. Oh, what's this? Oh, I got a whole story for that. Like, we drove 9 hours to this concert, and
yeah, yeah, yeah,
it was crazy, right? I love that though. Like, the stories that come with music. Like, music's life. It helps you
yeah,
up.
exactly.
It can even take you down if you get stuck in that spiral of sad songs, you know. But
Kind of
it's
blues.
always music that brings you back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
So, as you grew up in Europe and stuff, then over there as well, then.
Yeah,
Okay, so with the music, it's hard to get international, or used to be hard to get international music and stuff. But you talk about Metallica and Iron Maiden and stuff, like, obviously Iron Maiden's not it, like Metallica, Slayer, Pantera, all these American bands in that sense. How did you end up finding out about them? Like, how did that work before the internet? I know
yeah.
personally, right? But
There was this underground printed magazine
mm,
that was in which ultimately ended up in being a huge respected metal magazine, physical magazine. It's called Art Shock, uh, and they were very early in being a fan mag, telling and printing stories about new bands, and they were very well connected into the tape trading scene, and they were very well connected to American bands. And at a
Hmm.
very early stage, when Metallica, I think it was when still Dave Mustaine was in the band and Ron McGovney was playing bass in the band. This magazine already published about them, and they were played on Dutch radio. So that was in the garage days, and only 1 or 2 years after that, um, Kill 'Em All was released. So it was way before the first album, and that's where I heard them first on Dutch radio on a metal, on a metal
Yeah.
show on Dutch radio. They played Metallica demos, and I was sitting there with my tape recorder, taping it on cassette, and then playing it day in day out, and I
Yeah.
thought, wow, fuck, this is incredible, this is insane, and then when Kill 'Em All came out, I thought, hmm, it's kind of polished, it's produced and it's not that rough and it's kind of slick. So
Hmm.
from the first day, I thought Metallica was, from the first album onwards, I thought they were really kind of overproduced. They were really rough, and rocking on their demos.
Yeah.
And they were just played on Dutch radio in a Dutch radio show,
Just the
1980,
yeah.
1982. Yeah, that's
Wow.
incredible. It's
Yeah.
1982.
Well, when you look at the top five countries of like metal per capita per 100,000 people or something, you guys are killing it over there. Like we're only. It's hard to get even now. It's hard to find international bands such as yourself and others. Like you have to search for them and stuff. I'm getting lucky enough. People are reaching out to us from overseas, such as you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But
I think it's kind of a historical thing because when I was young and the years after, there were more American bands and Canadian bands, like
mm-hmm.
Triumph or Anvil or Honeymoon Suite
Mm.
or God knows how
Anvil
many.
brother, oh
Rush.
my God, they're a legend over here. Like
Yeah, and you
my,
had Rush,
I,
and they were big in Europe. They were really big.
yeah,
There were more American and Canadian bands than that there were European bands. So we always looked for Exciter was also a Canadian band, and we were
yeah.
always looking for that great North
Hmm.
American bands, and I think that's still something somewhere in European culture to look outside of their boundaries. But in the
Yeah.
meantime, there are of course a lot of great European bands as well.
See, I've been fortunate enough. Obviously, my first band was. We'll get into. I drove all the way to Tucson, Arizona, from fucking Ontario, Canada, to interview the first band ever to say, "Hey, yeah, come interview us." And then I realized it's like a 4.5 hour, like 4.5 day drive to get down there. So I booked a week off work. It turned into 32 days of doing interviews all across the U.S.
Oh,
Originally,
really?
right? And then we got noticed with Stone Daisies out of Africa, so I ended up going to Africa and doing the African death metal fest and shit, talking to a bunch of bands down over there. Yeah,
Oh,
like,
really?
yeah, it's almost I almost get more overseas music now than I do local bands and stuff anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird, but I'm loving it
Yeah, I think
personally.
it
You
was
know what
it
I
was
mean? But
exactly the other way around
mhm.
30 years ago.
You crave the unknown in that sense. Like we
Yeah,
said, you're getting to that point where you're full, so you're reaching out to all these other outlets that
yeah,
could inspire you for this song or that song. Like
yeah, exactly.
so, being from I just finished watching Ashes to Ashes. We were talking. It's a little bit of an older interview or older song, sorry, and that's about California and stuff. Or how did you how did that come about? Or did you fly there when all that happened?
No,
Or
no, no. It was when I first started writing music, then
hmm
which was, I think it was 6 years ago. Started writing my first songs. Then I had no idea of writing lyrics. and I still don't, by the way. So I never
Yeah.
I never write my lyrics.
That
So, but
song in the intro, that's my song. So I hear you, brother.
but at that time I was in a band in Holland, and that had a female singer, and I asked her, "Can you write? Are you interested to write a lyric for this song?" So I had the Paradise
Hmm.
song, which is about the Californian bushfires,
Yeah.
and so I said, "I have this song. You mind writing a lyric?" And she did, and she wrote about the campfire in California. It was her interest in. She loves America, and she loves to write about big things happening, and so
Yeah.
she wrote about it, and I thought, yeah, cool, it's a cool subject, and but it was not my idea. It was
Oh,
her idea,
okay.
and
Yeah. You
but
collaborated with her on the sense, and she brought you into that project or that
yeah,
song.
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
so so she wrote a lyric, and I wrote it. I was reading it, and I thought, what is this about? I didn't know about it, and then I started diving into it. I thought, fuck,
Hmm.
this is one big disaster. What happened here? And the same thing happened to the song, another song, "Too Late to Surrender," which was about a Las Vegas shooting.
Hmm.
Similar happenings. She wrote this. She wrote a lyric about that happening, and I was diving into it, and I thought, wow, man, this is tough. This is tough. This is a tough story.
Yeah.
So I was kind of pointed in that direction by the singer I was in the previous band with.
Hmm. So when it comes to the guitar and stuff, how like people just they pick it up, they go clang clang, I suck at it. How many hours I does it take to become a shredder like yourself? You know what I mean? Like,
Well, I wouldn't call myself a shredder because for me, there's I'm pretty good in playing rhythm guitar.
yeah,
I'm shit at playing solos, so I just
I'm the
can't
same.
I just can't play solos. So that's why I hire other guys to play the guitar solos. But for me, originally I'm a drummer, so
Oh
um,
wow,
drumming. I started as a drummer. I've been drumming for 30 years, and uh, drumming is pretty easy for me. I mean, I have a talent for drumming, but I need to work for guitar. I need to
yeah,
really practice a lot and work hard for that because it's tough. For me, it's tough to play guitar very well. Let's say, put
yeah.
it that way. So yeah, I need to put in a lot of more hours in playing guitar than playing drums. And I get up every morning at 5, and then every morning for years, and I start playing guitar for 90 minutes, and then do my workout, and then go
Yeah.
to work, etc. But I practice 1.5 hour at least every day, early morning.
Everyone says I'm crazy. Well, I'll get up early. I'll jam a little bit. I'll kind of do my dishes from the night before. I get dressed, go to work. I get home. Then I do my workout. Jam a little bit more, maybe half an hour. Even if it's
Yeah,
15 minutes, I'll just work on one quick song.
yeah,
It's just those minutes add up, though.
yeah,
And look where
yeah,
you are today, brother. Like, look at the people you're collaborating with here on the new stuff. Like, do
yeah.
you want to dive into that a little bit? Let's spill some beans here, brother.
Yeah, like I said, I cannot play guitar solos, so I need to work with
Hmm.
people that can play guitar solos. And I have a history as a music journalist. So I was a journalist 15 years ago. Had a radio show. Did some podcast style of interviewing like you're doing. So
Hmm.
in the past I built quite a network in the music business, um, and I did that for a few years, then stopped, and then started playing music again. But I always kept in touch with the people that I interviewed or that I spoke with or met, and when I started doing my own records, I could relate back to them and saying, okay, like people like Gus G or Christopher Amott. Well, I wouldn't call them really friends, but I'm well acquainted to them, so it was easy to approach them and ask them if they would collaborate with me on the album, and
Hmm.
they immediately agreed. So so some of them, the guys that I have are related to my past as a journalist, and other ones I just wanted to work with them, and I just reached out saying, yeah, you want to play on my album? They said yeah,
Hmm.
or they said no, and those are not on my album, but the ones that said yes, they are. So
Yeah.
and I think that for me, I mentioned I cannot play solos, and for me, a guitar solo is key. I've always been in love with guitar solo, so I'm very keen on that. There are
See,
good
I'm
guitar solos on my songs, and for that, I need the best people because
yeah. I can
I need
play
them.
like yourself. Then I can play that impossible rhythm. I can keep that. I can do this. I can do that. But yeah, I can't do the solos. Like with I've worked construction my whole life. I've broken every finger at least once. They don't
Yeah,
move. They don't do this. But
yeah,
yeah, it's hard to do. People are like, "Oh, write a solo to this." It's like, no, I can't. I don't know. I
yeah,
can hear it in my head. I can tell you how to play it,
yeah,
but I can't do it myself. I can give you this is the first couple of notes, but play it faster and quicker and go here or
yeah.
there.
If you have a
Uh,
large database of songs in your head, then it's easy
hmm.
to come up with a melody. But it needs to come out of your fingers, and if they're
Yeah.
my fingers are not that they're not that fluent. They're stiff, and I can't play that fast. They're not. If
Well,
you see these young guys, with large and with a big reach, and they're so fucking fast, and
but they're
yeah,
young and stuff. You know what I mean? Fucking. They could like after doing it, like you said, even drums, just holding the drumsticks, your wrist movements, the hands, the fingers that take the vibration. That's
yeah,
that's no different than holding a jackhammer for fucking an hour or two.
yeah,
You know what I like? Like people don't understand the athleticism it takes to be on stage for an hour and a half, 2 hours
yeah,
to play songs. If they call an encore, now you got to go out again, no
yeah,
matter how tired you are, right? Or
exactly.
like a lot of dedication that puts in. So, what are some of the funnest tours you've ever been on, man?
Well, I haven't toured a lot. I mean, I did a
No.
lot of, no, no, no. I've spent a lot of my musical life in playing in local tribute bands, kind of, yeah,
Well, I've
tribute
seen
bands.
the ACDC one there. I
Yeah,
got dived into that a little bit for. I love it. ACDC was the first concert I ever seen in my life. I
really.
gotta thank my neighbor Vicky for inviting me. Her parents got tickets, and she was allowed to take one person. And we
Oh,
lived
really?
next door, so we were pretty tight back then. And we were kids. I was 14 years old.
Yeah.
ACDC, boom. And I just got a Motorhead CD a couple of days before. Like I was like, oh my god, this is happening. And then I never looked back when it came to music again.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah. Yeah, so I played in a lot of tribute bands, and the major one was the HGDC tribute band. So we played
mm,
a lot of shows, but it was kind of local. It was not really a tour. It was playing once or twice every weekend, and then but not really like a tour, 2 month tour, back to back.
yeah, yeah.
It was
But still,
all kind of,
though, you're there. You're playing you're setting
yeah,
up.
yeah,
You're
yeah,
tearing down.
yeah.
It's a.
Did lots of shows for on small venues, small crowds,
Mm-hmm.
and those are the difficult ones to convince. And so that was hard work, really hard work, but I loved it. It was great. It was great to do, and a
Mm-hmm.
good experience and playing live. And playing live in big venues is kind of easy, because the people are there. They always love it, and it's always,
They're already there. They once a couple people start moving, everyone starts moving, and the whole
yeah,
crowd's bouncing.
they paid a lot of money, and they know what they expect. But when you go to a small bar, then there's a lot of people that just go there
Every day, yeah,
every day.
local,
So let's
yeah.
see. Oh, let's see what they have tonight. Oh, just
Uh,
these. Okay. Oh, so let's see.
yeah,
Convince
yeah.
convince me, and those are the difficult ones, and that has always been the fun
No,
part.
I
So
hear you. We hold a little festival here in Ontario in July and August, and when Buddy reached out for me to get bands, it was it was like I don't know what crowds there or anything. I don't know. I'll just bring you. How about this? Boom, 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 right? And now we're 4 years deep this year, man. We got 5 bands coming. But
cool.
like you said, it was very hard to please the crowd, figure them out. What can I allow? What bands are no
Yeah,
good here? It took
yeah.
that bit,
You never know.
No, right?
You never know. So, but I love playing live. It's always
Mm.
fun. And, but yeah, so I've done it a lot. I loved it.
Yeah, live music's the best though. Like I've heard bands like you hear their CD and then you go see them live and you're like, that wasn't what I purchased, and listened to 100 times. I wanted
Yeah,
not to be greedy as a fan. I wanted even better live. I want more interaction and shit.
yeah,
It's hard to find bands that do that nowadays. They just
yeah.
come
But
out in their street clothes and jam it
recording
out. And,
recording an album and entertaining a live audience is two different things. It's not
oh yeah.
uh, if you're good at one, it doesn't mean you're good at the other one as well.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And I've had 2 bands now. I've seen them live. I've gone to like the local shows, catch them. They're like, we have nothing to promote. We don't have any albums. We don't have any songs released. It's like you
yeah,
just played a 45-minute set. Like you can still come on the show. We can talk about your live music and how you're going about entering the business in that sense, right?
yeah,
Where I've noticed a lot of the younger bands that are coming up they prefer to build their live audience before they start releasing shit and stuff.
yeah,
So it's been weird to see the evolution of it all
yeah.
over. Well, like you have just a couple years on me, and you're not that much older than me. So, but with the new stuff you guys have been working on and stuff, what do we got to look forward to? What do you got coming down the pipe for us?
You mean after the second album, or you mean on the second album?
Kind of on the second album, and then maybe a sneak peek or lead into a third album, maybe, or
Yeah, yeah. Well, there will be a third album for sure. But
oh
for now, I'm happy that I was able to release the second album, because
yeah.
every album is a lot of work, and I'm a perfectionist, so I'm really, being very detailed, and it takes time, and it is frustrating to get it right, and
Hmm.
it's difficult to come to the point that you say, okay, it's good enough, because there's always things that you think you can improve on a mix, on your playing, on a drum fill or whatever. So it's always difficult to come to that point where, as you say, okay, now it's good. It's good enough, and I don't think it can get better than this.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was able to record a second album. It was 2 months ago. Work with one singer, American guy called Keith St. John. You may have heard of him. He's in Burning Rain with Doc Aldrich, who has been in Whitesnake and is in the Dead Daisies.
Yeah.
And Keith
Legend.
is an amazing singer. He's amazing, and he was very helpful in working on the arrangements, and he did a lot of support and getting the arrangements better. So I was very happy to work with him on the album. And I had 7 guitarists playing guitar solos on it.
Wow.
Uh,
That's
yeah, which for me, I love guitar solos, and I think the guitar solos are always the icing on the cake for me. And
mhm.
working with different people with different styles makes it very dynamic across the album. So it's still working with one singer makes it kind of kind of makes it kind of as if it's a band. You know,
Yeah,
it gives it
it
a
gives
band
you
feel.
that feel that it's because you don't the guitar sounds like a guitar regardless. No offense, who plays it in that sense. It's just how they play it. But that
Yeah,
singer, that voice has to carry through the whole album to
yeah,
carry those notes in the
exactly.
guitar to make it a complete story, as you were
Yeah,
talking about, right?
exactly. And so the singer is key to giving it a band feel, and I think the
Mm-hmm.
guitarist they give dynamics because every guitarist is different and has a different sound or different way of playing. So yeah, that was. I think it's an exciting mix of music, an exciting mix of talent on the album, and so I'm really happy with it. I've got, like I said, I have Gus G, who has been in Ozzy
Yeah.
Osbourne years ago. Christopher Amott, who was in Arch Enemy. Uh, I've had George
Two
Lynch.
bands I love.
Yeah, I've George Lynch, who has been in Dokken. Uh, Satchel, who plays in Steel Panther. Um,
No, that's crazy, man. That's insane.
yeah, and
That's
that's
so amazing, right? Like,
I have a Dutch guy called Timo Somers, and it's an extremely talented player who's in from Holland. So he
hmm
lives actually across the street, so here with me. And
Hey, no way, right across the street, eh?
yeah, 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 we always lived almost like like 5 miles apart, and never knew
Wow.
it. And, started working, and he's amazing. I think he's one of the biggest talents I've heard. He's a young guy, and
Mm,
he's one of the guys that that amazed me from the last 15 years.
yeah.
One of the 4 or 5 people that amazed me in the last 10 to
He's
15 years.
got that sound, that style that just
Yeah,
stands out. It's like,
yeah,
wow,
yeah.
thank you
It's a,
for playing
it's a
that for
it's a
me.
young guy.
Right.
It's a young guy with old roots. So
hmm
he knows his classics. He knows Page. He knows Eddie Van Halen. He knows Gary Moore. Um, and he has all the modern techniques of playing. So and that
Yeah.
combination is amazing, just amazing.
Wow. That's I like I said, I dove deep. I'll still probably keep on watching while I finish my cleaning and stuff because I cooked breakfast this morning, so I got my breakfast dishes to wash still, right? But man, it's an honor to have you on today. By the way,
No
and
man, I'm honored to be on it here.
oh, anytime, man, anytime. Especially when you got the third album coming out. If you want, send me over all the links so I can copy them, put them in the title. I
Yeah,
wanted to
sure.
make sure I have all that proper and stuff, right? So all that will
Yeah,
be in the title. I'll add them to the comment as well, right? And
yeah, sure.
I know
I'll
it's
do that.
you're obviously busy. I don't know, it's Sunday, right? But I'm chilling today myself. But is there anything else? Do you have merch, or where do we find your CDs? Where do we find all that, brother?
Yeah, I have a website and it's called roncoolen.rocks, and so it is my name dot rocks as an
Oh,
attachment.
perfect.
I there you can buy the CD. You can buy a CD package with my first CD included. I got merch. I got T-shirts, hoodies, all cool packages with memorabilia or what you call it.
Yeah,
So yeah, I think there's an interesting web shop there. So anyone who's interested can go there and see if there's something interesting there.
yeah.
But
Well,
I do have the CD, the CD because I want to have something tangible and
yeah.
it's over here. So it has a nice booklet in it, so you can read all about
hmm
it. And yeah, so it's really cool.
No, man. I'll be talking to Hollywood there backstage and get her to order us one up at least, and I can put it on my shrine, and kind of be honored that had this amazing conversation with you. I got your CD right here,
Yeah, cool.
that'd be awesome, brother. But anything else we should cover today, man? Like I said, send me your links after the show. I'll make sure they're updated
Yeah,
before the end of the night.
I will do that. And yeah, it's been 2 months since I released this album, and I'm done with it now. It's fine. I'm working on a third
Yeah.
one now, so I'm looking ahead of yeah, and I'm looking forward to releasing a third one
Well,
and create more music because yeah, that's what it's all about, creating
well,
music.
no, I hear you, brother, and I appreciate it. I'm so glad I come across your music. We got in touch and we were able to do the show today. Such an
Yeah,
honor.
really cool.
I
Really cool.
appreciate it. And we'll be bugging you here soon, man. We'll get you back on, even if it's with another band. We'll just shoot the shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I will do that for sure.
Awesome,
Will.
brother. As I always say, check this guy out. The links will be sent up here and above in the top. Play it loud, play it proud, and we'll talk to you guys later.
Okay, thank you.